I don't know about you, but I can remember the one game from back in the day that I absolutely hated. The game I'm talking about is Kid Icarus for the Nintendo Entertainment System back in the day. I'm sure you've seen this game.
Classic.
All I can tell you is the first time I played it, I thought, okay, this game looks cool. It was like a lot of games back in the day. You saw like there's a bow and arrow. You got wings. You can fly. There's monsters. Okay, this looks cool. You start playing it and it's from almost the very beginning. It's extremely hard and very complicated. It was so far removed from how easy the gameplay was and how quick it was easy to quickly learn the gameplay for Zelda, right? And you think, okay, this game is going to be in the same realm, right? It's going to be easy to figure out, and then once I figure out what does what, I'm going to be able to play this game and eventually beat it. But this game is just stupid complicated. And I remember it's probably the first game I ever rage quit when I was a kid.
Okay, so we're looking for a game where it's supposed to be playable and you just can't get over it, and it's enough to throw the controller. You ever, like back in the day, you ever see somebody like just throw their controller on the ground? And like, it hurts my soul because I'm in tech. So I'm like, oh, don't break it. But were you one of those guys who would just chuck the controller? I
don't think I ever. I know what you mean. Like they just slam the controller on the ground and destroy it. I've never done that. Because I'm like you. I think that's ridiculous. You break stuff and it's expensive to replace those things. So no, I never did that. But I remember thinking I hate this game and would trade it to a friend if I can get something else because I hated the game so much. No. And here's the kicker, right? So years go by, and I'm sure like you, I went out and bought the Nintendo Wii when it came out because it was so amazing. It was so different than any other version of Nintendo before it. I was like, oh man, this thing's great. And then I learned you can download the classic Nintendo games on this thing. I was thinking, this is the greatest gaming system ever because now they got new games I love. They've got those games you can, the bowling and the boxing and all the Wii games that they had, right? They were fun, but you could download the classic NES games. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I was so excited to have this thing until I downloaded Kid Icarus and I was like, oh my God, I forgot how much I hate this effing game.
You're like, I remember why I didn't play this. And when the nostalgia's taken over, you're like, yeah, this is great. I don't know why I ever stopped. And then you hit that spot and you're like, oh, this is a lot of people. Battletoads is a great game, and they hit that third part with the cars that's like near impossible. You basically have to memorize it, and they're like, "Oh, God, now I remember why." This is horrible.
You know what? I never was a big fan of Battletoads. I think I played it a couple times, and it was the same thing. It was too hard, and maybe I was just lazy. Like, okay, if I can't figure this out, I'm not going to bother stressing myself out. Maybe that's why I didn't really get into it. But I know the hardcore gamers did the same thing. They were playing it to get to that part, and they're just like, "Oh my God, I hate this game."
Yeah, well, I know you have a connection with this game. Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh my God!
Like notoriously that game for everybody because the mechanics are there. They're just not great.
No. And then the thing is too, if you didn't know, and most first-time players don't know this, there's an item somewhere in the game where if you don't get that item, you get to the end of the game and beat the game and don't have that item with you, it doesn't count. You go back and have to do it again.
Yeah.
And you don't go all the way back to the very beginning. You go back to where the item is. You have to get it and then go back to the end of the game again. But the killer is to truly beat the game, you got to go all the way to the end, which is really hard to do the first time. But in order to actually beat the game, you've got to go through the whole game 2 times to actually win and beat the game and see the little message at the end that says, congratulations, you beat the game. I've never done it because I never had the patience. I don't even think I've gotten past level 3 on the first go around, let alone the entire game. So yeah, I've watched a lot of people online play this game and freak the F out because it's so damn hard.
See, there's this thing called punishing. And like when you say unnecessarily punishing, I feel like the developers of games kind of hit a sweet spot where they're like, all right, this is what gamers want to do, and we don't want to make it too hard. And then honestly, I might be showing my age here, but I feel like games the more recently, they went a little too far the other way, where it's like, well, if you die, just go back 2 screens and keep trying until you win.
So there's got to be a happy point between too easy and too hard. And that's why games like, I think, The Legend of Zelda were great, because it was not overcomplicated. You figured it out pretty quickly what does what, but at the same time, you didn't beat the game in 10 minutes.
Yeah. And honestly, I think there's like a happy medium to, to say it this way, there are different kinds of gamers. So making games that are easy enough makes it accessible for everybody. There's casual gamers, there's hardcore gamers, there's people that do tournaments. I'm not at that level. I like to play old school games, and I like playing video games in general. So having something for everybody, there's something to be said for that. And I don't mean to be exclusive here,
Yeah, well, perfect example I think of. It's a challenging game, but you can beat it, I think, you probably know this because I know it's your favorite game. Contra, either the arcade version and or the NES version, whether or not you use the 30-man code or not, you can pretty much beat that, in less than 10 minutes?
It takes about 17 if you keep moving at a decent pace.
Okay.
We got it down to 15. And I'm not a speed runner, and I'm not, me and my friend in childhood had this dream that we were going to beat that game without getting hit. And eventually we did. We just played it enough times that we got a hold of it. And I can do it pretty consistently. But there's people out there that'll do no kill runs where they seriously just jump over everything and only beat the bosses. I mean, there are really talented people out there. Wow.
And I thought I loved old school games, but there are people out there that make me look like I never touched a Nintendo in my life. That's just crazy. All right, Ted, switching gears. In the 90s, there was a movie called That Thing You Do starring Tom Hanks. And in the early 2000s, there was a song called Stacy's Mom from the band Fountains of Wayne. There's a connection between these two fan favorites, and we'll tell you what it is coming up next.